¿Qué pasó, mi gente? It's Mark Tip 25 otra vez. Welcome back to El Chuco Sportscast. It's been a while, but we're back. You know who I am. This is my brother Mario. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. It's been a while.
Yeah, dude, it's been a lot, but I finally got a computer up and running, and it's gonna be a lot more simpler. In all honesty, like, cause it was a pain in the ass trying to get everything situated. But I know I've been talking about, oh well, I was getting my desktop loaded, but now I have this MacBook Pro as well, just to kind of speed the process up, have those and then edit it on the bigger computer to kind of save the memory and all that. And then another thing before we start, what I'm going to try and do is there's this podcast application called Anchor. And what I'm going to try and do is upload this particular podcast episode up on Anchor. And it'll be the first episode for the, audio podcast. This is episode, I'm pretty certain, 11, because the other episode 11 crapped out on me when my computer died. So this will be episode 11 for the
Okay.
YouTube part of the podcast.
Yeah,
But
of
yeah,
course.
so anyhow, to start off, I kind of want to just, well, we would like to kind of extend our congratulations to the LA Lakers for winning the NBA Finals, the Seattle Storm for winning the WNBA Finals, the Tampa Bay Lightning for winning the Stanley Cup Finals. And then right now in the World Series, we have the LA Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays playing. And the Dodgers are up 2-1. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It'll be kind of crazy if Tampa Bay come back in the series and we have two Tampa Bay teams win. And you know what'd be even crazier? If the freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers went to the Super Bowl this year. It would be like a 3-team deal. That they would be like championship city at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to imagine, since Brady is with the Bucks. Uh it wouldn't be surprised if they got to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure that they seem to have been struggling recently, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't put it past them because it's Brady.
yeah. But here's the
uh,
thing, dude. Guess who they signed?
who did they sign?
Antonio Brown, dude.
Oh man.
Dude, this
I
is
don't know what
freaking
to.
crazy, dude. Like,
I
how
don't
are
know
they
what to think
getting these
about it, man.
players? How are they getting these players? Like, who the
I'm
fuck
not
is pulling
sure.
these strings?
It must have some hell of a recruiter, or they must have some kind of pull to get them to come to play in Tampa Bay. But I just don't know. With all the issues that Antonio Brown has been having, I don't know how long he's going to last unless the coaching staff or the owner or both is able to keep his ass in check. I don't know. But if
And you
they
know,
do, hey, then
yeah, at this
great.
point, if they do, then I foresee them possibly being a threat to win the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, he's a hell of a player, but his personal problems and his attitude
Well, and that's
are
why,
going to be
yeah. And but see, yeah,
they're going to be a bit of an obstacle, but I would hope that he would, put that aside because hey man, I don't know how many more other chances you're going to get. This could be the last chance you're going to get to play in the NFL. So he should just make it work, man.
yeah, and I agree. But here's the deal, though. They signed him for a 1-year deal, so if he steps out of line, they could just let him go in the offseason. So it's a smart way to have gone about it. Like, give him at least a shot, and if it doesn't work out, then yeah, you can cut his ass. But I I don't know. I feel if he focuses and stays the course, again, I really predict them making the Super Bowl. Because I mean, the Saints have been struggling. The NFC East is garbage now. It's been garbage for the past few years, dude. I don't know what happened to
Well,
them.
even more so this year. It's just I don't know, man. For the longest time, the NFC East was the division to beat because all four teams were top tier. Now, with all this going on, and I know with the COVID situation, it's not helping. It just feels like I don't know. It's like there's a lack of. It's like the mediocrity has sunk into those four teams, and I don't know why.
Yeah, but I don't know. But as far as like the NFC East goes, let's just keep it real, man. Like the Cowboys are really fucking god awful this year. And a lot of it is with injury. Like
Oh
I feel
yeah,
so bad for Dak Prescott, man. He did not deserve to go out the way he did. That
agreed.
that pisses me off, dude. Because that guy, and I don't care what anybody says. Like I don't give a shit what Cowboys fans say. He is a decent quarterback. He was performing really well. He was putting up astronomical numbers this year. And people say, "Oh, well, he's he's not accurate. Those numbers were in garbage time." So the fuck what? He's the only one keeping him in this game, in the games. He
Yeah.
was the only one keeping him in it. Like Zeke was struggling and he struggled last game. We saw it. He was fumbling. Like they like I swear to God, if he doesn't improve, that's going to be very unfortunate because they overpaid his ass at that point. You know what I mean? They gave him this big ass contract and he's now fucking fumbling and not performing up to par. Like, yeah, it's just not a good situation offensively, but like the receiving core is a decent core. CD Lamb is a rookie, so we can't put too much expectation on him right now, but for what it's worth, he's been doing really well.
Yeah.
And Andy
Uh,
Dalton, I mean, I don't know. And that's the thing, like I've talked to our stepdad, dude, and the fact like he swear up and down that Dak Prescott is not the answer. And I don't know, maybe he's right, maybe he's not. I do see there's some similarities when Romo was there versus when Dak was there. There are some similarities, but I think the difference is Dak Prescott has a little bit more gumption and heart, and I think he definitely wills his team a little bit more than people think he does. Um,
well,
Overall, yeah, maybe he may not be the most accurate, but he's better this year than he's been in the past few years, and the numbers show it. So I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
well, yeah, I mean, I agree. His numbers have been amazing. He's really putting in a lot of the work and trying to keep his team afloat. I mean, there's no question about that. It's just unfortunately with injuries, especially with the offensive line, we had some linemen go down, so we
Hmm.
have some less experienced linemen come in to fill those spots, and they're just not experienced enough, not strong enough to protect the quarterback right now. So that's one of the reasons why they're struggling because they're not protecting Dak. And the other reason is the run game should be a lot better. I've seen Dak throw a lot more than he has in the past. They got to balance it out because for the longest time, the DNA of the Cowboys have been the run. They've been a running team, and it's worked well for them. I'm not sure what's happened. Is it because of the change in the coaching staff? You know, the change in the guard. You got McCarthy now, and it's like he's making Dak throw more, which yes, he needs work on, especially when he throws down deep. But like with Romo in the past, if you remember, he was throwing way too much than he was running. And if you throw too much, they're gonna, key in on that, and then you're more prone to interceptions. And unfortunately, Dak has thrown a few interceptions this season, which shouldn't have happened. So that's going to be a something to work out. So there's issues. I feel those are the issues on the offense: is the run game, not enough run game, uh, and the offensive lineman is not as solid as it was with the injuries. And on the defensive side, you're right. It's like a
Oh,
lot
I
of the
didn't even
guys.
cover the defense yet. Yeah, that's right. The defense. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Like I swear to God, this is the worst defense I have seen ever since I've been alive. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, then they stained some injuries on the defensive side, didn't they?
Yeah, Van Der Esch was one of them. I think Sean, I don't know if Sean Lee was there or if he, or what, but yeah, it hasn't been up to par.
I mean, yeah, I mean Van Der Esch is key. He brings a lot of youth
Tenacity,
and
really.
tenacity, yes, to this defense. But um, Sean Lee isn't getting any younger, even though he has so much heart that he goes out of his way. It's just unfortunate that he's very injury prone now because of his age. And then I don't know what's going on. Demarcus Lawrence is like, where is he? I mean, I know he's on the field, but it's like he hasn't been able to get pressure on the quarterback and get any sacks. David Irving too. It's like, come on, man, you guys, where's that? As you said, tenacity. Come on, where's that? A reckless abandon in a way. And then with some of those guys gone, their defensive line is very thin, so they can't apply any pressure on the opposing team. I heard that Randy Gregory is coming back.
Yeah, but I don't
It,
know if he's coming back to the Cowboys or what, but I don't
oh,
know. We'll see.
well, I thought he was still
I
with
think
Dallas.
maybe, but I don't know if like they're gonna waive him or if they're actually gonna like continue to use him. I don't know. I didn't really read up much on the Randy Gregory situation.
Well, if he were to, stay, clean and follow the rules, there would be no problem because when he was put in the game, he did well. But
Yeah,
because of his
stupidity.
carelessness, yes, yeah, he would get suspended. And he's been suspended what for the past 3 seasons?
Something like that. I can't remember.
Like
But
3 years in a row, he's been suspended. He'll come in for a couple of games and then they suspend him again because of drug abuse. I'm like, bro, come
yes,
on, man.
yeah, it's hard when you're a drug
So
user, but hopefully he has gotten help and he has gotten clean. But
yeah,
yeah,
I hope so too, man.
it's just it's gonna be weird. And like I think it's Earl Thomas. They had a chance because the Seahawks waived Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't at least try for him. Something like a shakeup on the especially the for a safety position. Like, why the
Well,
fuck wouldn't you do that?
I heard that he had a lot of baggage, that he had a lot of issues that maybe because that's what I was hearing a lot of these guys on ESPN say about him, that he has some problems that I think that was the reason why the Seahawks let him go. I mean, I could be mistaken, but that's what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I just think the Cowboys should have taken a shot. Like they were expected to pick him up, and then they just decided, nah, we're not gonna do it. So I don't know what to think of it. But yeah, that's just the big issues with him. I mean, but the thing about Dak right now is
Man, I feel sorry for him, man.
th- here's the thing. I understand what you're saying about him still like running more. I think he would run when there was like trouble.
No,
But
well, I
sometimes
mean,
he holds on to the ball too long. That was another thing.
yeah.
But it's just here's the thing. Historically, um, pocket passers have had more success than running quarterbacks. Be that as it may, I feel as a running quarterback, you extend the games because look at Patrick Mahomes. He's well balanced. He's good at the run game. When he needs to run, he can run. But when he needs to throw the ball, he can throw the ball. So that's what Dak needs to be. He needs to he needs to have that balance overall. Like when he's in danger and he can't find anybody, either A, throw it away or B, fucking run it. Like
Well,
there's
yeah,
just
yeah. I mean that yes, that's true. As a mobile quarterback, yeah, if he's got nobody open, then he needs to take a chance and get those first down, which he has. I just feel he needs to do it a little bit more. But what I meant was, as far as the running game, he needs to get Zeke more involved, and
Oh
I
yeah, I see
forget
what
the
you mean.
name.
Like when
Yeah,
Romo got DeMarco Murray involved.
yeah. It's like, bro, you paid Zeke got paid all this money, and it's not. It's like he's not living up to what he's worth right now. I don't know what it is. I mean, he has gotten good yards when I would see him play, but he hasn't had that breakout, not like he did his rookie and second year when he would break out and go all the way. He needs to try and do that. Um, utilize the running backs a little bit more. But
Yeah,
like you said
Pollard
about a
and
bounce,
Zeke. Yeah.
yeah, Pollard, that's right. Yeah, he's really good. He's a good backup, and I hope that he does really well. I hope he does. But you got two good running backs. McCarthy needs to utilize the running game. That's what, like I said, that was the DNA of the Cowboys for the longest time, and to change it
Well, but
wouldn't be,
see, I see what you mean, but like remember, we were trying to get away from this mindset from ¿cómo se llama? Jason Garrett. And yeah, I think but I think overall we just need a balance. Like as long as Dak can still maintain like when he comes back next year, hopefully he's healthy and 100% because injuries
yeah.
like that are really tough to come back from. So
Well, I hope he
hopefully,
does. Well, what I mean, well, yeah. Look, I know we were trying to get away from what Garrett did. What Garrett did was he was too predictable. He was running the same plays all the time. So the other teams would catch on really quickly. But I would say not to get rid of that running DNA because that's what made him very successful.
yeah.
McCarthy needs to incorporate the running game a little bit more. Now, when he was with Green Bay, of course, we saw Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, you're in Dallas, and they've been known as a running team. Yes, I mean, Dak, like I said, he needs to get better at throwing, and I feel like he has been, but don't neglect the running game when you need it, especially on the short game, especially on those short downs, man. Especially right there on the line. There was That was like with Dalton. It's like several times he threw the ball when he was 2, 3 yards from the end. So it's like run it in. You know, that's why it's like, come on, McCarthy. You know, you're a championship coach. You got a Super Bowl win. I expect a little bit more.
I don't know. It's kind of funny because a lot of Packers fans, they were high on him when he won, but since then they haven't been so high on the guy. So I don't know. I don't know really what to believe. I hope to God that Mike McCarthy can fix this situation when everyone is healthy, when he has a truly healthy team. But and I don't think Dalton is the answer. I'm sorry. Like he people are like, "Oh, he's more accurate. He's more accurate." Bull fucking shit. That last game he was far from accurate. He had two fucking interceptions
Yeah, he
and
was he
he
was
threw for less than 200 yards. How the fuck is that accurate?
they were not in sync. Dalton was just, I don't know what happened, man, because look, we've grown up watching him, and when he played with Cincinnati, he was solid. I liked him. I still like him. I mean, he's a good quarterback cuz he's played as a starter, and there's many times where he was on point. It's just he never got over the playoff hump. But now that he's a backup, it's like he's got to step up. I don't know how long it's been since he's been in the starting position, but come on, man. You got to remember how it was when you started, so step it up. But yeah, that game, he was just not focused. I don't know what was going on, but it just seems like when Dak got injured, it's like the whole team has lost focus. And I mean, we're all human beings, man. We all lose focus. Um, I would just hope that they find their focus soon and fast because there's still a lot of games to be played. And it's like, you want to have a running for the playoffs. It's like, come on, you know?
Let's see, here's my deal, man. Like everyone's gonna be like, "Well, why are you giving him so much shit? It's just one game." But it's like, come on. And this is where I totally disagree. Let's fucking break this down. Everyone, as soon as like Dak was gone, is like, "Oh well," like from the beginning of the season when they picked him up. Oh yeah, we got an experienced backup quarterback. Yeah, he's going to do really well if something should happen to Dak or if Dak doesn't sign. Yeah. So why are we giving him a pass? He's supposed to be the experienced one, right? He's supposed to have this heightened resume, right? So why the fuck are we giving him a pass? But Dak has had less years of experience than Andy Dalton, but nobody gives him a fucking pass.
Yeah.
That's where I have problems with this whole thing.
I don't know, man. I mean,
That
yeah, if you compare Dak and Dalton, yes, Dalton is the more experienced one. So technically, yeah, there should be no excuse for why he had a terrible game. But like I said, there could be many reasons why that game was just so bad for them. Like I said, probably every one of them was unfocused, and especially at the quarterback, you know, that's where you need to be the most focused, and he wasn't. So we don't know why, because we've all seen him play really well in the past. It's just maybe it was a bad day, a really bad day with all those injuries, and like I said, we don't know.
well
And
for
also
me,
doesn't
yeah.
what also doesn't help is, like I said, with the COVID pandemic, these teams also did not have a preseason to get working. They jumped right into the regular season. So that can also be a factor as well. And then also was it that Shannon Sharp said on his show after the day after it all happened, it's like from players' experience, especially quarterbacks or any player, when you franchise tag a player, it usually doesn't go so well. It's always something that happens. So I don't know what it is about the franchise tag, but it's just I don't know. I don't know if you're superstitious or what, but it seems like it's bad luck when you put a franchise tag on somebody.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. The Dallas organization, they did play it safe in that regard. They did play it safe because say they did pay Dak this money and then the injury still happens. Now they've paid a shit ton of money to an injured quarterback. But then again,
But
let's
the same thing can
let's
be
keep
said about Romo
that's what I was
when he
that's
got
yeah, that's what I was
hurt.
about to say.
You know,
That's what I was about to say. But the same could be said about Romo because as soon as they paid him like that big ass 6-year contract, he was getting injured a lot. So it's just like I don't know. At this point, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So at that point, I can't really fault the Cowboys because they were trying to make certain that they could see Dak prove himself, and he was starting to, but then he got injured. But overall, the main focus right now, I think, should be on improving the defense because had the defense at least stopped anything, the Cowboys probably could have won a couple more games. But
yeah.
again, we won't know at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, that defense. Dallas has been known for having one of the best defenses in the league for many decades. So it's just like, come on,
Well,
guys.
maybe not the past decade and a half, but at
But the
least
decades when they were to like the 60s, 70s, 90s. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, they've been known for when they were successful to having one of the best defenses. It's like, come on, man, you gotta get that.
yeah,
Now
it's
I
just
mean, you got come on, DeMarcus Lawrence, David Irving, Randy Gregg if he comes back, Ben Derish if he comes back. On paper, it's like, come on, guys, you guys
yeah,
are
that's the thing.
stacked, but it's
But
like,
see, but here's the thing though. That happens every year. We're always told that on paper this is going to be a very extremely talented team. But then guess what fucking happens? We're disappointed because it may not be as good as we fucking think it is. And that's the reality we're probably going to have to face. So there needs to be a shakeup, even with players themselves. Yeah, they got rid of some other players, and some were like, "Oh, you shouldn't have gotten rid of Brown." Brown wasn't even doing that well, dude. Like he would blow coverages and he would like commit pass interference. Well, yeah, not pass interference. What is it? Yeah, defensive pass interference. A lot of the times they would get called on
yeah,
him, and he would just I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
He just was.
He wouldn't turn around
He
a
wasn't
lot
a
of
smart
times.
player, dude. I don't care what Cowboys fans say. He was not a smart player. I don't know, but in the end, that's just what needs to happen for the Cowboys
But
to be successful.
well, they got to get, each one of those players. Like I said, we're all human beings. We all have our issues, but the chemistry needs to be bigger. I think that's the biggest thing, especially on either side, offense and defense. Their chemistry probably isn't gelling, and they're off sync. They're not on the same frequency. So that's probably why they're doing so well, because of all this upheaval, all these injured players. Now that Dak's hurt, I'm sure there's a lot of chaos in the locker room. So they got to get right as far as chemistry
But
goes. And
overall,
and I
dude,
know, like I said, the pandemic is not helping whatsoever. So I'm sure people are, you know, um, very wound up because there's a chance maybe during the season
players get
and
sick,
could get sick
and some
and
of them
test
have, and they've
positive.
had to postpone games.
So that doesn't help the chemistry of a team, especially with what Dallas is going through. I mean, it could be the same across the entire division. Maybe that's why it just sucks so bad for them. I don't know. But like I said, there's so many factors to consider this year. It's just, let's just be honest, man. It's just been a shit year for
Yeah,
all of us. For all of us. So, I can only hope for the best. But yeah, is we all have to try to stay right in our mind because
yeah,
with all this we can be driven crazy. So
yeah.
I hope they do. I hope they
But
get it.
here's my thing, man. Like, it's either gonna come down to this. I think the Cowboys either A, make the playoffs, but they have a shitty fucking record, or the Cowboys don't make the playoffs. That's there's two ways about it. That's but and see, and I hate this, but you know what I think the NFL should do? They should get rid of divisions, man. I think they should, because it's bullshit when a shitty team makes the fucking playoffs. It's bullshit, dude. Like, as much as I love the Cowboys, like, the fact that they sometimes have gotten in with shitty records is crap, dude. I think they should do away with divisions.
Yeah, I mean, would you say the same about basketball
Yeah, dude. Um,
or all sports? Because I know all sports
yeah, because
here
sometimes the
at least have a
division thing
division.
complicates everything. It just for some teams that like do better in their division than others, but not well enough all like around the league to get in is kind of just a bullshit like hand that you're dealt with. So yeah, I don't think that's fair. I think they should get rid of divisions.
And
Because I mean,
yeah, no, you're right. I just feel also some of the divisions don't make any sense. Like, take in football, the NFL, the NFC East, right? How
mhm.
the hell is Dallas put in the NFC East? When I look at the teams on a map, it's like, okay, you got New York, you got Philly, and you got Washington, all within the same region. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. But Dallas is in Texas. I would think wouldn't that be considered West or South region?
Yeah, I
Just
don't know.
saying,
They need to. I think it.
some of
Look,
these teams
it's
in
either
between.
that they restructure the divisions or they just get rid of them. In my opinion, they should just get rid of divisions, dude.
Yeah, I
Get rid of
mean,
division like entirely, because it complicates things, and it also like again a shitty team could sneak in just because they're on top of their own division, and I think that's bullshit. So yeah, I think they should get rid of that. But yeah, that's as far as football. That's really all I had to talk about. As far as the NBA, um, I did my Eastern Conference prediction video like some time ago, and it came out really nice, and that was probably my one of my best edited videos yet. Um, and then my computer broke, so I did a Western Conference predictions video. I just need to put a better thumbnail on it, and yeah, I couldn't since again I didn't have enough of my stuff. It didn't come out like super edited. It was just again me talking like this. And yeah, dude, in all honesty, that fucking playoffs was crazy.
I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no, no, it
There was
was
some bit like, what?
yeah,
I'm
dude.
like,
Like Miami really surprised this year, and I kind of had a feeling like they were going to be a dark horse team. A lot of people had them as that, and I felt like yeah, especially when they were beating Milwaukee in the regular season.
Bro, I
I
was
had them
not
like,
expecting
well,
that.
they could upset them, but I don't know. Milwaukee's still a decent.
Bro, well, Milwaukee, I mean, come on, they were at the top of the conference. I was thinking they were gonna do it. But when I was watching the game, when I was still working, I was watching. And I looked at it like, bro, three, like 2-0, 3-0 Miami. What? And of course, in the break room, there was some guys that originally from Miami, and of course, they were giving us like, "Oh, like, what the fuck did you say?" I was like, "Hey, man, I'm just surprised. Milwaukee's good. I didn't expect Miami to whoop them." I was like, "Oh," they were giving me shit about it, giving me a hard time because
What
I
the
was
fuck are
shocked. I
they
was
doing
like,
there? They're in goddamn Dallas. Shut the fuck up. Anyhow,
no, but that whole break room was going crazy because a lot of those guys were originally from Miami. They
no,
worked
I
down in
know, but I'm
Miami,
just saying
so
it's
it's
kind of
like
funny. It's like
it
they're
was
in
kind of funny.
Dallas. They're probably outnumbered there, so they should calm the fuck down. But
Well, I mean, but still, Miami did surprise me big time.
yeah,
Can you believe Jimmy Butler? Man, that guy,
dude, I knew
if
he was
he's
a
worthy of
pound for
winning
pound.
one, he is. Because what
He's
he did with Chicago, I felt Chicago should at least won one with him. But
But
hey,
they were not going anywhere. Like Jimmy Butler was a good piece. He was doing well, but I just didn't think they were going anywhere. A lot of people, and that's what the front office felt. They were not going anywhere. Like they were just going to be middle of the pack, so they had to rebuild. So I mean, and hopefully next year with a new, since the Bulls have a new coach, they probably could make a better like push for the playoffs because that Jim Boylan is a fucking shit coach. Like, that guy Rusty Buckets I tell you about.
yeah,
Yeah, I've been like watching this stuff, and yeah, dude, like I watched a Bulls game, and dude, I don't know what the fuck Jim Boylan is doing. He doesn't have a firm grasp of anything,
it's
and
like we're
like
going
he
back.
was like benching Larry Markkinen. I was like, dude, that guy is he's a good shooter. Yeah, he was having struggles, but like you don't bench him for that. Like he's still a young player.
It's
Uh,
like Chicago hasn't been this bad since the 80s, since Jordan joined. I
yeah,
mean,
Jordan joined him and made him like better.
he made them who they
Yeah,
are.
70s and 80s, the Bulls were crap, yeah. But
Yeah,
like at
well, I
least
mean, at
early
least
80s, but the mid 80s on, they were really good.
yeah, but it's like, man, what happened? They went from like when you and I were growing up, in the 90s and watching Jordan and that team just dominate, made the Bulls, a world-renowned organization, and it's like, what happened?
Well, and then they were starting to come back on the come up with Derrick Rose, but then we know what happened there. Pobrecito, he fucking messed up his
Yeah, it just
leg and
sucks
shit,
that
man.
he didn't take care of himself or train like he should have.
Well, I wouldn't say that, dude. It's just sometimes when you mess up a certain part of you, sometimes it's hard to keep it healthy after a while.
Well,
But
yeah, but
last year he did really well, and I hope to God that he gets that someone trades for him to be on a contender, man, because that man deserves a championship.
well, yeah,
He
no,
fucking
he
deserves one.
does. He does. It's just I've heard from a lot of guys that followed him and knew him, especially some of the people that we listen to. It's like he he was not very smart in the way he trained, the way he practiced it, the way he played. He didn't train himself to when how he would jump and come down. He would come down really hard on his feet. He didn't like he wouldn't land like he was supposed to, and that's why he blew both of his ACLs. So that was part of it. It's
Mhm.
all about how you train, how you practice. It's like with you and I. It's how we practice, is what and how we practice that either will make us progress or will hurt us.
Mhm.
So, but I still have high hopes for him because he's really determined. And he's good. It's just now with those injuries, and he may not be as explosive. But other than that, yeah, I
He's
wish
still
him all the.
crafty, and
Mm-hmm.
he improved a little bit in his 3-point shot. Not by much, but he improved a little bit. I just hope somebody like that's a contender trades for him because I
Yeah.
want him to win a championship. I mean, because look at what happened with Dwight Howard and some of those other guys, man. Like I'm glad that Dwight. I mean, I hate the fact that he's an anti-vaxer, but I freaking like am happy that he won a championship finally. Like
Yeah,
especially with all the struggle he had. And
yeah,
you know,
I'm hoping.
and especially when he was freaking like defensive player of the year, and he was dominant, man. And it was so crazy that he went from being so dominant to like barely like doing okay to then having a championship. Like that's such a great like that's such an interesting parabola, you know, like a trajectory he had.
Yeah, I wish nothing but success for anyone at what they do. So congrats to him.
Yeah,
It's kind of
congrats
funny.
to the meme god Nick. No, no, was it Alex Caruso?
Me,
Meme god, because like a lot when the Lakers picked up Alex Caruso, he was like
oh,
everyone was
that's
making
right.
a bunch of crazy memes about him, like he's the goat,
Oh,
the goat.
oh, I haven't seen any of
Yeah,
that.
but you know who that is, right? Alex Caruso.
Yeah, I remember now. I was like,
Yeah,
wait
he's
a
from
minute.
A&M.
Oh,
He graduated from A&M.
oh, well, good for him, man.
Mhm.
Um, but it's kind of funny how was it back in '09 that Dwight was Magic with the Magic when the Lakers beat him, and then now he's with the Lakers and he wins.
Mhm.
But no, regardless of where you are, even though we have our um, dislikes for certain teams, still,
Mhm.
they
Yeah, and
deserve all the credit.
LeBron and AD really deserved this championship. Like, there's no question. And for people to say that, oh, well, there's an asterisk because it's the bubble, it's the bubble. Who the fuck cares? Everyone had the same fucking like ¿cómo se llama? Advantages. They were no there was no home court advantage. Yeah, sometimes there were players that like either decided to not opt in and play or to like, you know, some of them got injured. But for the most part, otherwise, it was pretty much there. They all had the same advantages. So
Yeah,
we
it was
cannot
all a
sit
level
here.
playing field for the most part. Which gets me thinking, come playoff or finals time, like for any team in any sport, do you think it would be beneficial for an even playground where both sides are at, you know, evenly matched as far as not having any advantages? Would you think it would be ideal for teams in any sport to play on a neutral site come playoff time? I don't know. I've always thought that, well, at least be fair to the teams playing their. It just ran across my mind, but then at the same time, it's like, fans would have to travel, and that would not be fair to
The fans, yeah.
yeah, the fans either. I don't know. It because of seeing this transpire and trying to keep people safe, having it on a neutral ground. I don't know. It just seems like all the teams played better. They weren't worn out. They seem to. I don't know. It just seemed fair. Like not one team had an advantage. Everyone was well rested and didn't have any issues. That's because they were in the bubble. They were well fed. They gave them time to rest. They made sure they were in good health. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, because I mean, when the NFL and some of these other sports leagues play in the playoffs, I mean, they go to their whoever like has the is the higher seeds like playing field, and then the only difference is like the NFL plays in a neutral field when they play the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And then the NHL and NFL and the MLB, they go back and forth.
yeah. Between the yeah,
And it's interesting. I think they should keep the playoff format the same for the NFL, NHL, and MLB. But my whole deal is that I think it would be cooler if they did the finals for all those in a neutral zone, like the
yeah,
Super Bowl. But then again, a lot of fans are not going to really like that. But I don't know. Overall, because again, we're in a very strange situation. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about this, right? We would everything would just be as it is. But with this, I don't know. It's it's interesting because you didn't have the crowd there. But
it was
when
very
I made
weird.
my some of my previous videos, I didn't think that would be a disadvantage. I mean, it's like if you can play in a fucking wreck without all these people around you and still do well, why the fuck do you need a crowd? Like you're a baller no matter who or what is there. And LeBron proved that. And then yeah, just as far as like the other teams, man, like it really surprised me because everyone, like, and I mean everyone, had the Clippers. Well, unless you were a Lakers fan or you just hated the Clippers. Like everyone had the Clippers up against the Lakers in the conference finals and making the finals. I just
I think, to be honest with you, bro, I really think the Clippers got jibbed. You know, want to know why? Because of this year, of its significance, you know, Kobe passed away in a tragic accident. I kind of feel that they were not going to let the Clippers any chance, and they were going to give it to,
ah
like, look, you both know, and both you and I know how rigged the NBA can be, and I
I
feel,
don't know, dude. I'd be careful with that
I don't
because
know. Look. You and I know the reputation of the NBA officials, the organization, and how they rig games. And people, yeah, will argue about this, but you and I know. And I just feel, I watch some of those Clipper games, and I'm just like, what the hell are they doing? Dude, come on, man.
well, no, but
They were
see,
doing so good. They were doing so good, and it just feels fishy to me. And even in the bubble, I saw some plays, some calls on a lot of the games I watch. I'm just like, you can't get, even in a bubble, there's still that crap happening. So
okay, yes, there were some calls throughout the playoffs that did happen that were very suspect, especially when the Clippers played the Mavericks. But here's the thing, dude. Like, I don't think that's accurate because of the fact that Paul George just struggled in general. So at that point, you really cannot blame the refs in this particular instance because Paul George really struggled this playoffs. He underperformed. So if anything, you should really blame it on Paul George and Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell because they sorely underperformed to what they were supposed to be at. Kawhi Leonard had to carry that team, and he, of course, he couldn't really do it by himself. And again, the recency bias is now that, oh well, Kawhi Leonard's not even a good player, and that's bullshit.
after he
But
won the championship
I don't, the
last
year
year,
before,
come
yeah, I
on,
know it. People are
come on,
ridiculous,
no.
but I don't know. I just think, oh man, the plane. Sorry, it's just I'm
Well,
outside,
look,
so
the reason why I say that, man, is because, you know, you both and I know how sometimes they want certain teams to win. It brings them more money.
well,
And
but
of
dude, okay,
course, knowing the Lakers and their success, of course, it's going to bring them a shitload of money. Now, I'm not trying to jib at LeBron and his success. They kicked ass. But it's like, come on, man. Why are you going to jib the sister team in LA or the brother team in LA of that opportunity in the, like you said, in the conference runs? That would have been a great game to watch against those two teams. But I just feel that there was just
nah.
something,
I mean, I don't agree because um, Murray from the Nuggets and Jokic, they played out of their mind in that series against the Clippers.
well, I
So
mean, yeah,
I really can't
uh,
say, you really cannot say that it was gypped I mean, that it was rigged at that point
there was just some
because,
calls that I saw that were
well,
just
okay,
like,
but dude, there was
ah,
calls
man.
going. If you look at the box scores, there were bad calls going both ways. This was actually, in my opinion, the most neutral set and setting that I've seen. The only one I can say that was bullshit was when what's his name, Kristaps Porzingis got called for that tech. That was bullshit. That was not a
Oh,
foul. He
yeah,
blocked
I
that
remember
ball.
that.
That was bullshit, dude.
Dude, I watched that
So,
and I'm just like, really?
and there's a lot of people that think that the Mavericks could have beaten the Clippers had that not have happened.
Yeah,
And you
they
know
would
what?
have beaten the
I think
Clippers.
it's possible, but here's my deal. The Clippers to that point were still playing pretty good. But yeah, I just think the Clippers underperformed. I really don't think there was anything sinister in this particular year. I really don't. And yeah, I understand what you're going at, but you need to be careful about that because it just kind of seems a little cheap when you say it like that. That, oh well, it's because Kobe passed away and this was the year 10 years ago that they won. Yeah, but I don't think we should use it like that. I don't think that's fair to say that. I understand they were playing for Kobe, but we need to be careful how we approach that, in all honesty.
Well, I
I
mean, you
think
can
the
say the
better team
same.
did win this year. I think the Lakers were the better team. They were consistent. The Clippers were not. They fucked up. Had they been more consistent, had Paul George not struggled, they probably could have, like, they were up 3-1, dude. They were up 3-1 and they lost. That's at that point, it's really the Clippers' fault now. And that's why, like, Doc Rivers left.
They
So,
fired him. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm just
well, they
like,
didn't fire him. He like quit.
no. Well, it said that they fired
Oh, I
him.
thought I thought he quit. Well, whatever.
Yeah, on the announcement that I read, they said that they fired him. And I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
why would you fire him?
I guess I'm misinformed. But either way,
I mean, you could check again, but
yeah,
that's what I
either
read.
way, yeah, be that as it may. I really think the better team won. So congratulations to the Lakers. We'll see what happens to the Clippers next year. Let's see how they approach this. I know that Montrezl Harrell, I think, is a free agent, so I don't know if they're going to try and throw something at Montrezl Harrell or take another route to try and boost up the team. But Paul George needs to improve. Like, he did well in the season, but then he came to the playoffs and he wasn't ready, man. He just was struggling really bad.
I
And
wonder
that's it.
why
I
though.
hope to God that, I mean, and it's been kind of a reoccurring theme for him. Like when he was with OKC, it was same shit. He was struggling.
Mm.
And yeah, we can say, oh, well, after like his years in Indiana and then he messed up his leg, he just wasn't entirely the same. Yeah, we can say that. But then last year when he was with OKC, he had like almost MVP aspirations because he was playing that well. So I don't know. I
Well,
just I just think he struggles mentally in the playoffs, and that's something he has to get over in order to
yeah,
be successful.
but right. Well, like I said, with this pandemic, all this isolation, it's hard, man. And especially the teams that were in the bubble, they're isolated.
Yeah, but
Anyone from
like
outside their family, they couldn't see their family, nobody. So for however many months, that can weigh on you. And maybe you're right. Maybe this whole situation didn't help him mentally and it just weighed on him.
I don't know.
So
Overall, I think everyone had for the most part the same advantages as far as setting, as far as no fans, as far as just everything in general. So in the end, I think this was probably the most neutral game. I mean, neutral series set of series I've seen in a long time, which is kind of nice. I mean, because if it was really rigged, Mario, do you really think they would have let Miami go to the finals? I don't think so. They would have let Giannis and Milwaukee walk to the finals
well,
if it
like
was really that rigged. So I don't agree with, like, I understand, but I don't agree with that assessment.
I'm just saying, you and I both have seen the past
I
and
know,
what they
I mean,
do.
but at the
It
same
doesn't
time,
stop them.
I understand, dude, but like that it takes a lot at that point because they're in a neutral site now, so you really can't do much there. So yeah, there were some bad calls. There's always going to be bad calls. There's nothing we can do to fix that. But at
Right,
the
no,
same
but
time, dude, like I just don't think it's as rigged as you think it is in this particular moment.
like you've always said, it's just like we always have to call it like it is. Don't do those makeup,
Yeah, I
kind
know,
of
no, I
bullshit.
agree. I agree. But in the end, yeah. You there, dude?
Yeah, I don't know why my phone, it like times out with the application, and I have
Yeah,
to open it up again. I'm hoping
to get an
save up
actual
some money
camera.
to get an actual webcam, so
Yeah.
that way I don't have to worry about my. I mean, for what it is, the camera looks pretty good
Yeah.
compared to my old laptop. But if it keeps
Hmm.
on doing that, that's gonna be problematic.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and this, as far as like the off season for the NBA, it's kind of crazy because the free agency class for this upcoming off season is not as dynamic as most have thought. And I don't know, it's going to be a very strange off season. I just hope, at least for the Mavericks, that they can put somebody that is a decent defensive piece, whether it be, I don't think they have a high draft pick this year. I don't think they even have one, as a matter of fact. But overall, like they need to find somebody who's going to help them defensively because they were the number one rated offense last year, and they were historically the best even. But defense, again, defense wins championships,
yeah, they
and
were.
also if
the,
if Luca and Kristaps like gel even further, I think they're gonna make a run at the conference finals. But again, it's going to be weird because you got the Warriors coming back. Maybe their pieces aren't going to be as strong, but knowing that Golden State Warriors front office, I feel there's something coming. I think they're going to make a push that's like some major trade or something, and it's going to put them back on the map.
I can see
As
that.
far as the East, like Miami just I think they need to run it back with the same team, like throw the bag at Dragic. If for some reason they don't, hopefully the Mavericks can pick him up because when Dragic was healthy, he was playing really good.
Oh, cool. Do you think Butler's gonna stay with Miami?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, there's no question in my mind. He really proved his worth. So I think he's gonna stay there, and they just need to build around him and Bam Adebayo. As far as I mean, he struggled this finals offensively, but he was still doing his part defensively.
Hmm.
I mean, he kind of struggled against Davis, but for what it was worth, he still did pretty well. And then Tyler Hero is coming to his own. Um, Robinson, Duncan Robinson was like lights out from three. So yeah, this is still a very decent team. So I think they need to run it back. And then Giannis and the Bucks, I don't know, man. I don't know who they get at this point because they do so well in the regular season, but then the playoffs come and they just can't get over the hump. They need somebody who's going to get them over the hump. And a lot of people have been saying Chris Paul, and yeah, like a couple of years when he was with the Rockets, he was actually able to make like he made a conference finals for the first time, but then he got injured in the conference finals. So he's just he's so unpredictable. He's an amazing player. Like he's an amazing finesse player and like passing and all that. It's just him staying healthy, and that was a huge issue with him when he was with the Clippers, staying healthy. And granted, he stays healthier than Derrick Rose, but
But he's not getting any younger either.
yeah, and the fact that when Houston signed him, they threw this huge fucking deal at him, and it was not smart because they overpaid the guy now, and he's pretty much gonna be like 30, like at the near end of his career, is gonna be paid like 40 million, like in for a year, 40 fucking million. That's ridiculous, dude.
That
That's
is crazy.
ridiculous. And if the Bucks somehow like pull some trade off to get him to go to Milwaukee, yeah, they're gonna be really good. But I don't know what you do with that because if say Chris Paul gets injured during the season, they tried their best to keep Giannis, but I just don't think it happens. I hope and if it does happen, I hope the best for Chris Paul and I hope he remains healthy and I hope he finally gets over the hump because he's an amazing player. But I just worry that that's going to be again another issue. And I just feel like Giannis is he says he's going to stay there, but we've heard that with a lot of other players that they want to stay with the teams they're currently on. But then out of nowhere, here they are, free agency. Now I'm done. Like look at Anthony Davis. He at first said he wanted to stay in New Orleans, and then when the first opportunity hit, he's like, "Nah, I'm done playing with New Orleans. I'm done." You
Well,
know what I mean?
a
It
lot of
just
things can happen, man. You
yeah,
know,
and see the one person that has actually stayed pretty true to his word thus far is Damian Lillard for the Trailblazers. But I don't know. And see, that's another thing. I think, man, that team is stuck. They're really stuck because they made the conference finals the year previous and then they got knocked out of the first round. It's just they're so up and down. Like they're like middle of the pack and they just can't break out. But hopefully, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. From what I've heard, I think it's sometime either in December or January. They're doing free agency and the draft, I think. Yeah, it's going to be weird because they're going to try and do another 82 game season. But and see now that again we're still in the pandemic, how are they going to make that work? Like how are they going to like are they going to put everyone in Orlando because again, you still face a major issue with the pandemic. And are they going to get multiple hotels to place them at, or do they do something where it's like still like they all go to Florida, they have one major bubble and then a second major bubble in another city like Miami and Orlando, so they like a few teams play in Miami and a few teams play in Orlando, and then they travel and switch just like in between the bubbles,
I mean,
or unless they put all the Western Conference teams in one bubble. They all play against each other for half the season, and then all the Eastern Conference teams play each other for half the season, and then they switch a few, like half of the Western and half of the Eastern, and then make them play like that. I don't see, there's so many questions. And how do they organize that? How do they maintain that? It's just, part of me feels that they should just reduce the season. And okay, and see, that was another issue with me about this whole playoffs. They should not have fucking continued the season. They should have just jumped straight to the playoffs, in my opinion, because everyone was like, "Oh, well, it gives other players teams in the West a chance to try and make it." Really, half of the teams that had that chance didn't make it. Like the only team that made it out was the Blazers, and yeah, the only team, in my opinion, the team that got screwed was the Grizzlies, because they already had the eighth seed, and I thought that was bullshit. So whatever. And I had a person already disagree with me on that, like calling me a fucking idiot, but whatever. I don't give a shit. Um, it's just in general, look at the Suns. The Suns had an 8-game winning streak in that little section of the bubble, and they still didn't make the fucking playoffs. So what was even the point? What was even the point? There was none. They they won every single fucking game. Every single fucking game, and still didn't make the playoffs. So in essence, it was a waste of fucking time. They should not have had that many teams go into the bubble. They should have just fucking started the playoffs, because Washington was the only Eastern Conference team on the East that was on the outside looking in, and they didn't fucking make it anyway. So what was the point? What was the point? So yeah, I don't know. I just think it was utter bullshit that they did that. They were trying to boost the ratings, because their ratings were already low and see, that's another reason why I don't agree with your theory that it being rigged, because the ratings were already low to begin with. It didn't matter if you had LeBron or any of these other teams in the finals. The ratings were already low, and especially because of like the Black Lives Matter movement, like everyone kind of being turned off by that, which I think is bullshit. I don't know why you would be turned off of people trying to fight for their rights, but whatever. And then um freaking just in general, like the ratings were down, so it would not have made a difference. And that's just, and then the fact that they extended the season a little bit more in that regard, and then went to the playoffs. Guess what? Now you're conflicted with, and as I talked about this with you before, with the NFL, the NHL, the MLB, just everything, dude. Everything was happening at once. Obviously, they were going to lose even more ratings because of other sports being on at the same time. So it just was a not a good recipe in general. People will disagree with me on that, but in general, it was not a good recipe. And again, the big issue also with ratings is the fact that, remember, streaming sites are a thing now, and people also illegally stream. So you're going to lose ratings because TV is starting to become a thing of the past. Mainstream
Yeah, it
media
is.
and TV is starting to become a thing of the past. So
Yeah, pretty
obviously
soon.
the main ratings are going to be fucking down. That's a fucking given.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah,
I
pretty
just
soon, man. I mean, cable, satellite TV, it's going to be a thing of the past because all those services are going to go online
mhm.
because it's just better that way. I mean, you think about it. A lot of houses now, except with a few for exceptions, like here, like we don't watch TV. Like we don't
Cable.
have cable, we don't have satellite because there's no point. It's too expensive when we can just pay for internet, hook a Google Chrome stick
Fire
or a
Stick.
Fire Stick to the back of our TV, gets the signal, and we can just watch shows from the internet. Or, you can do what I'm doing, hook one of your TV screens up to your computer and watch Netflix stuff on the internet. That is going to be a thing. It's already a thing, but like I said, it's going to replace TV, conventional TV and satellite to because it's a lot less expensive. Um, so yeah, you're right. Doing everything at once wasn't helping. I mean, yeah, the ratings were already low, but I still feel screwing the Grizzlies out of the playoffs. I think they were trying to match the best teams that would give them a boost in the ratings. But even then, that didn't help.
Yeah, and I get it. You're trying to make back your revenues that you lost. I get it. But you're still going to lose revenues by extending the season, because you're already going to have to compete with the NFL. And America loves football. So I'm sorry, you were already going to lose fucking revenue and your ratings were already down. So what's the point? Just go straight to the playoffs. But whatever, it's done. We can't do anything about it. But
Right.
I don't know. Overall, now again, now that LeBron has won his fourth ring, everybody's trying to create this GOAT debate again between Jordan and him. And in the end, it's, I don't know, for people to say that, oh, LeBron has already passed Jordan with 4 fucking rings. Yes, he's
Wow.
had more appearances, but 4 rings. If he win, okay, and I've already said this before. If he wins 2 more rings in the next 2 years, yeah, I will put him as the GOAT. I will definitely put him as the GOAT because having the same amount of rings plus more appearances is still an amazing feat. And by then, LeBron will have already passed a lot of Jordan's uh, statistical records. But I think you have to have both. You can't just have one or the other. I think you have to have both. And I think that's going to be really hard these next couple of years because a lot of these major players are coming back, like the Warriors. The Nets are coming back with KD and Kyrie. Just a lot of teams are going to get strong again. So I don't foresee it happening, but if LeBron wins next year, that's going to be amazing in itself. But we have to see what happens. But overall, again, in my opinion, Jordan is still the GOAT. I don't care what people say. Well, personally, I mean, my personal opinion, I still think it's Russell, but everyone's like, ah, well, he was in the 60s and everyone was not good. And again, we cannot fault a guy for being from a certain era. Like what is he supposed to do? Not fucking win? Not fucking try? What the fuck is he
Well,
supposed to
yeah.
do?
Well,
Same
if you're gonna
thing with
base it,
LeBron. Same thing with Jordan. I bet you years down the line, they're going to say the same shit about LeBron. So what the fuck is the point? They played who they played. Whoever was in front of them was who was in front of them. They cannot control who plays them at all. They cannot control that. So just
right?
leave it as it is. They are greats in their own eras. Okay?
Well, yeah, if you just base it off of hardware, rings, of course it's
Yeah,
going to
and
be
yes, of
Russell.
course there's a
But
mixture of everything, but I think Russell had a great impact that more people do not understand. Yes,
yeah,
offensively he wasn't super efficient, but not very many people in that era were really that insanely efficient. And if they were, again, people are going to say that they were trash because they of who their competition was and there were less teams. It's like, okay, so either way, it doesn't matter what people say, you're still going to discredit them no matter what. But like there were less teams, yeah, in that era, but there were also less teams in the 80s. So what, Birds and Magic's rings don't matter? There were less teams in the 90s to the thousands. You're going to say his rings don't matter? Like that's what we're doing now? And I hate when people say, "Oh, KD's rings don't matter because he won it with a super team." Dude, you win. If you win, you win. You play who's in front of you.
yeah.
And
I mean, a lot of people like to make the argument, oh, it's not about the rings. It's like, well, then what is it then?
like, what's
Right?
even the point? What's even the
That
point?
they
Why do
think
they
it's
play?
about they think I've heard some people talking now it's about their stats and what they were able to achieve, but it's like I thought it was in the end all about winning championships because
That's why, okay, that is why they draft these players. That is why they sign and trade to get the chance to win the championship. That's why do they even do any of that? If not for
yeah,
that. That you see
yeah,
what I mean?
I
That's the
know.
kind of stupidity I don't get. Yes, in context there are other things that make a player great. I get that. But but that is why they play the game. Period. That is why they play the game. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, but dude, for the NHL, man, holy fuck. Dallas was so close, man. The Stars were so
Uh,
fucking close. And they looked strong, dude. I was actually catching a
yeah,
couple games. This is
man, it
probably the
was so
strongest they were this was the strongest they'd looked in years. Like last year they were pretty decent, but like, dude, holy crap. Like they were coming back from a lot of deficits, but then yeah, just some a few hits here and there and the puck didn't go their way. But I'm excited, dude. It's been a while since I've been excited about hockey, and I hope to get back into that because dude, the Stars were really good this year. Jamie Benn needs to be a little bit more consistent, but you know what? For what it's worth, they still played really well. And that goalie that they picked up, Kudobin, he was like killing it. And yeah, he was a premiered goalie, um, because Bishop got injured. But man, I just hope and see now that they've signed Kudobin, what do they do with Bishop? Do they just let him walk, or do they keep him on again as another backup in case something happens to Kudobin once Bishop is healed? Because that would be an interesting tandem, a goalie tandem. Like a few nights it's Kudobin, a few nights it's Bishop. Because Bishop was a pretty good goalie too. So I don't know. But then again, maybe it's too premature to think that Kudobin is going to be that great of a goalie. I don't know. Again, I still don't know as much about hockey, and I want to get back to that because when I was watching it, when I was like kind of mid 2000s, I was kind of interested, but like I just liked seeing people get fucking hit and scoring goals. But now I actually want to learn a little bit more about the rules. I know some basics, but I still would like to learn more. So hopefully you fans out there that are hockey fans can like help me get into some interesting stuff, especially if you're Dallas Stars fans. I want to know more about the history of the Dallas Stars. I know at least enough information to kind of go off on, but yeah, I'm excited for these next few years of Dallas Stars hockey, man. That's going to be really fucking cool because then I could talk about the Stars, the Mavericks, and the Cowboys, and also the Rangers. Except the Rangers have just been, I don't know, they've been struggling these past few years. They just need to find some sense of identity because they ever since they lost back-to-back World Series, it's just been hard. So I don't know. I hope they come back. But then the WNBA, I really want to start getting into like WNBA stuff too because I mean basketball is basketball, and I don't care what anybody says. Like those girls play really well, and the Seattle Storm, man, like those girls are amazing. Sue Bird, man, and oh my god, I forget that other girl's name, but she's pretty damn good too. Like she's again their premier player, and I think she won Finals MVP for them. So let's see, Seattle Storm. There we go, Seattle Storm. Yeah, because they just won the championship. Uh, yeah, Brianna Stewart. Yeah, she's the forward. Yeah, she was really good this year. Yeah, and I'm pretty certain Sue Bird is going to be, and also Brianna Stewart they're going to be Hall of Famers. So that's going to be cool. I just hope now that Dallas has a WNBA team, I can follow them more. I follow them a bit here and there, and they were kind of like back and forth. Like they were starting off a little slow, and then they started coming up again. But then afterwards, they just, yeah, I don't know. You there, bro?
Yeah.
All I see is your, yeah, there you go. It's like,
No, it's just starting a little dark
yeah. I mean,
over
it's
here.
the first video in a while, so it is whatever. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna post this one and then do like I'm gonna download the audio to Anchor just so we can kind of have that started. So yeah, this will be like the first episode for the audio podcast that I hope to God makes it onto Spotify because that'd be fucking amazing. And then hopefully maybe we can get some sort of sponsorship, like because that would be cool. That would be very cool. But yeah, I'm excited about like a lot of things to come, but I'm also very uncertain because again, this whole situation has put everything at a weird spot. But we
Mhm.
have the NFL right now and also college sports. Oh, that's another thing. UTEP. Good old hometown team. They they're better than last year. I'll at least admit that. So that's at least a good sign, but for the most part, they're still mediocre. I mean, I mean, this season they're 3-3. And yeah, they lost really fucking horribly to UT. Oh my God, that was bad. But I see a lot of potential in the running game because their running backs, like I think their star running back uh had 117 yards today. So that's a good plus that they have a good running backs coach. It's just everything else needs to fall in line. Like UTEP for a long time just hasn't had a very good defense. Like because there have been years where they have a decent offense, but their defense can't stop anything, man. I just don't know what to say. Um, but yeah, I just think because from the last time we spoke, uh, it looks like there is potential to head in the right direction. I can see that now. But that's really going to depend on how things go the next seven. Wait, because there's always man. There's already been 6 games played, huh? Since they're 3-3 now, because they just
Yeah.
lost to Charlotte today. Like, we'll see what happens if they win the next 4 games. I think that's going to be at least a decent season. We can say that. But if they lose the next 4, then I'm going to be like, yeah, well, there's always next year, right? We say that every year, but hopefully that is the case. I mean, the QB, like, he's okay at times, but I think he's a little bit inconsistent. And see, that in my opinion, that is an inconsistent quarterback. A quarterback that people are like, oh, he underthrows, he overthrows. Yeah, but I've seen Dak make better passes and throws on a consistent basis than this quarterback does. And yeah, you're saying, oh, well, you're comparing an NFL quarterback to a college quarterback. I don't know, man. Football is football, and if you're not accurate, you're not accurate. I don't know. I don't know what else to say to that. But yeah, that's just the issue. Like, there's starting to be some sense of wanting to win, at least from the running back core. But I just think the play calls are still very questionable, because I caught a little bit of the third, or no, the fourth quarter, like last part of the third, early part of the fourth quarter, and I just they cannot stop the run game to save their lives. That front line for the defense is, it's like fucking Swiss cheese. They let anything through, and yeah, overall it's, and then the passing again, once they start making better, like, okay, there was a stretch where there was some potential, but I don't know, like, the quarterback at one point, it was like 4 and 6. They converted on one fourth down, and they tried to convert on this one, but the guy just stood there. Like, there's like they get through, and then there's 2 guys like there, but he just stands there. He didn't fucking run. I'm like, what are you doing? Run, or like, try to get the first down. Try. But he just like stood there with the ball, and he didn't fucking do anything. So I don't know. Again, maybe I'm being overly critical, but I just felt there's just no sense of like direction. They're better, but not entirely. I just hope the best for UTEP, because I love UTEP. I always have. But there's just no consistency.
Yeah, I don't know what it is when it comes to football, but it's like, come on, a Texas team should represent Texas football of the highest order. I mean, I don't know. The Demo, come on, man. You're supposed to become highly recommended. So he really needs to make something happen, or whoever the recruiters are, they really need to step up their game, because yeah, you're trying to build up a reputation in a college program, but you gotta go after the talent and make it happen. Now, with this situation, it hasn't helped, because I heard that they were letting go of a lot of their staff in the athletic department. So I don't know if that's a factor, but come on, you know, you you know, we haven't seen it do really well, not since Mike Price's early days. When he was here, yeah, they kicked ass. But
Well, early
once,
days for us, but
yeah, early day, well, but still, the early days of Mike Price when he first came,
mm-hmm.
yeah, they kicked ass. But it seems like he got started to get complacent, and it just was like, ugh. So it's got to go back to
Yeah, there
that
just needs
level
to
and
be
then
a
some.
more winning culture and mindset. I don't know. I hope the best for them. And it looks like there's a sign of wanting, but it's just getting the right pieces at this
Got to
point.
do it. Yeah. Well, I hope that our athletic director will, come on, make things happen, make the moves, get the get on the recruiters to go look for the talent everywhere, home and across the country,
Hmm.
because you always find someone. But what would piss me off about Price's recruiters, he never recruited in town. He'd always go out, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you never know. There could be some homegrown talent that kicks ass, like with the Jones brothers. You
Yeah.
know, come on, recruit everywhere, locally and nationally. I don't know what it is, man, but I don't know if there needs to be a fire litter under the coach's butt or the athletic director's butt. But it's like, come on, institute a winning culture in football here because it's Texas, and I know these guys can be great. I know this program can be great, but you gotta pull all the stops.
Yeah.
Now with track and field, that's another story. You know, track and field has got it down. We hold more, NCAA championship titles in track and field because it's a well-known program, and that's what we said. But in basketball, you
In
know,
football, yeah. I mean, basketball, they
that's what we
they have,
got ours. We got one, and the only one in Texas. That still boggles my mind
yeah,
that we're the
Texas
only
Tech almost had
school.
it last year though. Texas Tech
Almost. That's
almost
why I
had it.
gave them props for that. They came runner up.
I don't know.
But
Part of
so
me
was
kind
it.
of likes the allure of that though. Part of me
But
kind of
I know our basketball team can win more, but we gotta institute a winning culture. The what Haskins left behind. But I know this school all around with all the other sports can be more. But the athletics director really needs to, like, come on, be the go getter and try to help these teams get up there.
well, I mean, in the last year before COVID hit, like the UTEP basketball team was starting to actually look pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I forget Williams, I forget his name or like his first name, but he was really good. He was really good on like posting up and like fading back. Like that kid was good. So I hope he plays one more year at least, hopefully, because he was really playing out of his mind. Like that team looked like they were really good. But we'll see. We'll see when the time comes for basketball to come around again.
Yeah, like I said, I hope my alma mater can do well athletically. I mean, I
Yeah,
know
the
it
hometown
can.
team, yeah. But anyhow, that's really all I had to talk about today. I mean, I'm just glad that we were able to do this again, that I
Yeah,
have at least a nice computer that can like film a lot nicer picture quality and just have something.
same here.
Yeah, and then like I said, I'm gonna post this one, the audio, onto Anchor and try to at least get our name out there. Because I would hope this takes off a little bit more. And I really hope you all liked this video and that you all, continue to support us and share with anybody because this would be really fun to do. And as I stated, it's gonna be a little slow again. I'm gonna try to make certain I do at least bi-weekly, just so I can kind of weigh the situation because I'm still kind of transitioning with a lot of things in my life. But I'm glad I was able to do this again, especially with my brother. So it's going to be exciting. But anyhow, was there anything else you wanted to say today, mi hermano?
No, man, I'm just glad that at least with all this craziness and uncertainty that we're getting back into this, and I hope that we can sustain it and hopefully grow our audience. And hopefully they catch on, man. So I
Mhm.
hope your channel grows, and I'll try what I can to help with that. And I ask you and everyone out there, if you can, please subscribe to my channel as well, RedMT25. Be watching me play games with other fellow YouTubers and friends, and also with a podcast and reaction video series that I'm creating called Red Reacts. So I'd appreciate if you came in to liked and subscribe my channel as well. So it would be great. If any other YouTuber can do this, then I'm sure we can too. So we appreciate your support.
Alrighty, ándale pues. Suscríbete a mi canal y hasta la próxima, mi gente. Adiós. Adiós,
Adiós.
adiós.